Hi, I'm Cailey, a librarian here at Mentor Public Library.
And I'm Meg, also a librarian, and welcome to this week's edition of All Booked Up with Cailey and Meg, where each time we give you different book recommendations on a specific theme. We're going to be looking at teen summer reads this week, and it's kind of an appropriate subject because we're just getting started with our own summer reading program here at the library.
Yeah, and there is a summer reading program for all ages here at the library, whether you're 10 years old, 15 years old, or over the age of 18. And all of those allow you to earn prizes for the books you're already going to be reading this summer. All of the books we're going to talk about today with our teen summer reads are also featured online through Libby by Overdrive and Hoopla, free with your library card, of course, or here in the building where you can come in and say hi. So, Meg, what is your first teen summer read?
My first teen summer read is called Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. And this is a super fun one that kind of is like a twist on Princess Diaries, What a Girl Wants, that kind of vibe to me. It finds our protagonist Izumi, or Izzy, as she's more commonly known, a small town California girl that discovers that her long lost father is none other than the Crown Prince of Japan. So she's automatically, literally a princess. Raised by her mother, she never knew him. So she has a lot of questions about what he's like. And also, like, she's always wondered what Japan's like, too. So she has a lot of questions before she goes, but she makes that really long journey kind of in a whirlwind, so to speak, meeting all these new people. But what's really fun is like all her expectations are a little upended. So in America, she kind of felt like she never quite fit in. And then in Japan, like not American enough, but now in Japan, she's also wondering, oh, is she Japanese enough? So I kind of think that tension that she has to deal with, adds a bit of weight to the story as well. But there's conniving cousins, there's a hungry like press, a scowling but handsome bodyguard. So, and thousands of years of tradition and customs to learn practically overnight. So, seeing how she deals with all these challenges is super entertaining, funny, and just interesting as well. So, will Izzy crumble under the weight of the crown, or will she find her happily ever after? So, I think that's a really sweet one.
That sounds adorable. And I adore Princess Diaries. I just watched it not that long ago. So it has a very similar vibe to
Yeah,
it.
great.
And that sort of culture clash is an interesting component as well, because it is that sort of vibe, especially for kids like that who have very discernible features that maybe don't match a parent, that have that sort of not fitting in feeling. So it's a very interesting take on it.
Yeah, thanks. What about you?
So my first one is totally off the wall.
Okay.
It's called Girls Save the World in this one by Ash Parsons.
Okay.
And this one came out last spring, I think, but it's
Okay.
a great summer read.
Yeah.
Um, so three teen girls, June, Siggy, and Anami, are stoked to be heading to ZombieCon, a convention all about zombies. I would totally go to that, by the way. They are especially excited because the stars of their favorite TV zombie show, Human Wasteland, are going to be at the con, and they are hoping that they get to see some of their favorite actors IRL. Of course, this plan also was supposed to include one of their other friends, Blair, until Blair sort of stole June's boyfriend.
Oh, boy.
So imagine the awkwardness that occurs when Blair shows up with June's ex-boyfriend at the ZombieCon. The girls are determined to not let this ruin their time, though. They're very excited to be there, and they are spending a ton of time in lines trying to meet all of the stars of different zombie features. When June starts to notice that, like, some things about the ZombieCon are, like, just a little unusual. Some of the cosplaying zombies seem a little bit too into their role. And before you know it,
Oh,
ZombieCon has turned into an actual zombie infestation.
crazy.
The convention's locked down to prevent the spread, and the non zombie con attendees have to fight to make it out alive. June and her friends find themselves fighting zombies alongside the stars of the show that they had watched, and they try to survive ZombieCon. So, this sounds really crazy, right? It's a very like sort of campy read in a lot of ways, kind of like a Zombieland kind of thing. But it's a lot about the friendships and the girls' relationships with one another and what really sort of matters in addition to that, which is kind of an interesting undertone to something so unusual.
Right.
But it also just, kind of talks about those like overcoming of obstacles and things, but it's also just very girl power, because the girls save the world in this one.
I like that. Yeah. And that's like the ultimate fantasy is like your favorite TV show somehow coming to reality, becoming real. So
Yeah.
it's super fun. And
Maybe with a little less flesh eating though.
yeah, maybe not that, but I love it. That sounds like a really fun one. So my next one is called The Cost of Knowing by Brittney Morris. And this is a really interesting mix of fantasy and gritty realism. So making it probably one of the most unique young adult books that came out this spring, I think. Our protagonist is 16-year-old Alex Rufus, a young man coping with the death of both parents several years ago. So he's just kind of starting to get back into, a somewhat normal daily routine. He works at an ice cream store. He has a beautiful girlfriend and a little brother that he strives to protect in Isaiah. But Alex has a secret ability which gets in the way of his attempt at teen normalcy. So every time he touches an object or another person, he sees into the future of that person or object. So crazy. So when he touches like an ice cream scoop at his job, he can see him working next week, like something that will happen, a customer or something like that. When he touches his girlfriend, he sees them about to break up and he's like terrified. And then also he touches his car and he sees it totaled years later. So it's kind of like an ability, but he almost views it as a curse because why do you want to see all these horrible things happening in the future? So he kind of lives with it in a state of anxiety, but he doesn't do much about it until one day when something's so bad, a vision is so bad, he knows he has to do something about it. He touches a family photo and he sees that next week, his little brother Isaiah is going to die. And he's like, okay, this is the line. I have to do something about this. This vision cannot come true. So Alex goes through all of this to try, you can't really tell his brother, but he has to try and figure out how he's going to keep it from happening. And he's decided nothing's going to stop him. So it's a really fast-paced, kind of thrilling book, but the combination of that with the magical elements, I think is kind of interesting as well. And it touches just on grief, like sibling relationships, and also what it means to be a young Black man in present-day America. So it touches a lot of cool things. And like I said, just a unique mix, I think.
Yeah, it does sound like a very unique title.
Yeah.
But something different to pick up this summer for sure.
Yeah.
So my next one is more of a traditional teen romance.
Right.
Because I enjoy picking those up in the summertime sometimes.
Yeah.
Lighter read.
Yes.
So this one is about Liza, who is a hardworking high school student, and she's a great kid to everyone except her mother, who is a very traditional woman and who hates that Liza embraces all of these like sort of modern things, challenges her mother's traditions, and horror of horror, wants to date boys who are not Asian American. So Liza's mother, Mrs. Yang, is the owner of a very popular bakery, and to help prove to her mother that she is responsible and can make her own decisions, Liza agrees to help with the bakery's annual Junior Bake Off competition. And when she arrives on day one, though, Liza senses something's a little off. Yeah. All of this year's competitors are young men, specifically young Asian men, vetted by Mrs. Yang as suitable for Liza.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly Liza has found herself thrown into this sort of bachelorette situation with no way out. And she's also sort of angry with herself because she actually is starting to like one of these competitors, the shy, standoffish James, who she met a few months back and has run into a few times since. But she would hate for her mother's plan to actually work. So this book is super cute. And easy to devour in one sitting, and will probably make you very hungry because of all of the amazing food descriptions.
Oh, yeah.
Think sort of British Bake Off kind of thing.
Right.
And it's actually a loose retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but not so much that it gets like bogged down in trying to copy it.
Right.
Like one of the factors is that Liza is constantly compared by her mother to her older sister Jeannie, who is perfect in her mother's eyes because she doesn't challenge anything her mother says.
Yeah.
But it also just is a very unique tale in itself, and it's interesting to see a teenager who is depicted as being really passionate about something. In this case, Liza's really passionate about baking and getting into that. So it's a really quick, sweet summer read, and it just came out within the last few months.
Oh, I love it. That sounds like the quintessential, I would say, summary. Just like sweet, summery, light. Sounds good. I like it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week. We hope you got some good recommendations for this upcoming summer. And we also hope you come to the library and sign up for a summer reading program, and where you can get these books as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, and happy reading.